Yo, hello guys. So today I had a privilege to meet Africanity. So Africanity is a brother, uh, an African brother from America.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
So, yeah, guys. So my topic today will be just getting to understand the, and also to getting to break the bridge. And it's been over 6,000 years since we
600.
separated. 600 years since uh, the initial stages of enslavement of the African community to the Americas, and over that period of time, there has been very minimal interaction of African brothers from all over the world. Mm-hmm. And my topic today is just getting to understand, because yeah, especially in this side of Africa, Kenya, we hardly get to see a lot of African brothers who went to America during that time, and African brothers who went to all over the world. So it's a great privilege, and I just showed it. So how has it been over those years? If where do we start?
Yeah,
what will the conversation is? Where do we start this conversation?
Yeah, I think it's just we gotta start, and about where maybe we can start to develop strategies on what's the most effective point of origin to start in communication. But in our early stages, the best thing is just to start. Yeah, just to start having those conversations. We have the internet now.
Yeah,
and we can talk directly, streamlined to each other instead of having other people in between.
Yeah, actually, for a very long time, we've been communicating through the white person, and to some extent, it's not been, the message doesn't get across the right way.
It definitely doesn't.
So yeah, it's a good way just to get in touch and communicate. There's so many things that we really get to reconcile and discuss some deep stuff. What do you think? What is the feeling of Black Americans towards Africa?
What's the
feeling?
Feeling.
Yeah.
It depends on what groups and backgrounds. It's not a consciousness that we've been able to develop on a high level of like an organization or a nation. We don't even see us. So if we saw like Black or Africans in America saw themselves as like a nation, then they'll be able to come to understanding of what the overall and the overarching consciousness is, or intentionality towards Africans that are on the continent. Mm-hmm. We haven't did that, so there varies many ways, and that varies depending on the information that an individual has about Africa, Africans, himself, and all those combined. So I couldn't give you, for me, mine's is different. Yeah. So I would have to give mine's. I wouldn't speak for the vast majority. Some love, some are hurt, and that's where it usually falls from.
And those are the conversation we should have in future.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I hope we get to see more and more brothers coming to Africa. Because off camera we've had great discussion, and I've really learned a lot, guys. So there are so many things we really need to catch up, and there are so many things we really need to do. And what has informed your decision about the decision of coming to Africa?
Yeah, history. Yeah, I used to hate history. I used to hate it. Yeah, it used to be the worst. But that was only because I was probably studying other people's history, and it later on allowed me to learn that that's basically like the scientific experiment of human beings interacting with each other. Like that's basically like the experimentation of humans interacting from group to group, person to person, groups with nations, nations with groups, So it shows the roadmap on things that you could classify as errors or mistakes or misbehaviors or misappropriations of values and a lot of things. But when I started to look at it and go through it, not just to make myself feel good, I did that also. I was checking out the pyramids, and, Mansa Musa, Shanghai, all the stuff we did. I was like, whoa, man, that's where I started at. And later on, I started to really dig deep to extract the information I needed in order to get myself to a level where I was like, okay, I've seen this before, and I've seen us go down this path before. So should we go down the same path? No. Because I already know how this experiment works. So now I know that I need to head in this direction. Try something new. So to get me to Africa and actually here on the continent, and creating schools and centers that are going to be institutions that are connecting points, not a person like a Marcus Garvey or just one person, but an institution that would help build that relationship, just like embassies exist in countries. To build influences in those countries, we need to build our embassy inside of the continent of Africa and talk to Africans, build relationships and invest in Africans, and then also allow Africans to invest in Africans that are in the Americas.
Yeah, because we also have a big African American community that is in diaspora all over the world. So it's also a good market for them to also connect in the same way. So one of the things that you say is history really helped in terms when you dig deep dive on the history and you came to understand. So it's something that you can advise them also to also try and understand the same thing. Yeah. You've been in Africa. How many countries have you been in Africa? Not many.
Just three. I need to get my. Hey, it's about to be 4 in a little bit here soon, you know.
It's a good start.
Yeah, I'm going down to South Africa, check out some things on the ground.
So you being here, there's so many things you see. Probably some are being done right. Some of them are not being done the right way. Mm-hmm. What would you like to? Which message you like to give the Africans in Africa? Things that you like us to know.
Yeah. Mine would be the biggest thing is we need to work with each other more. Mm-hmm. We need to start talking with each other, utilizing each other in a beneficial and functional way. For the power of Africans to ensure that we're powerful and we're connected. And why I wouldn't say like, hey, this is what's wrong in here. Oh, the production, the manufacturing, the distribution, right? I don't need to do that. We need to have an institution and start talking to each other. And then through those channels and through those centers, we can start building that rapport where we can get to that level where we can sit down and talk to each other and have what they call criticism or critical critique, or I would say African-centered observation, and then say, okay, hey man, I see this. Hey, and then he'd be like, well, I see this in America too. And then we could build towards that and start building that bridge, There's a lot of, like I was saying earlier, 1,600 years of separation. So there's a lot of communication that needs to be happening on the small, on the micro and the macro. So those institutions and that type of organization, with that type of intentionality, we can get some things done. I think we'll figure out the rest when we start talking and working with each other. Also, a thing is we need to encourage each other. So if I'm talking to Africans in America, or if you're calling yourself Black American, I'm telling them like, hey, look, man, get connected with brothers. Talk to your brothers. Talk to the Africans in the African context, and even in South Africa, because we don't talk to them neither, or South America, right?
So, there's no great relationship
with the South American African descended people. No. Because we can't communicate. We are streamed. It ain't one America and we all connected. Nah.
I thought it was just like
North America up there,
one continent.
Nah. North America up here, the Caribbean's here, and then the South America. And we still haven't been able to connect. Back in the Marcus Garvey days, it was heavily connected. But that has been wiped away in a sense.
So we really need a Marcus Garvey of sorts.
Exactly. And the Marcus Garvey institutions to actually precede the body, the biological makeup of that person that is a Marcus Garvey. So it can create more Marcus Garveys just out of the institution.
Yeah. The other topic, guys, that we discussed off camera was about how to make Africa a strong, like, how China grew up from zero to right now where they are. Those are the things that I believe that Africans can borrow from. I'm not saying the Chinese ways of doing things, but I'm just saying some of the the steps, the approaches they took to get where they are. Like re-educating the whole society. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, even it goes to a lot of people say, "Oh man, look, we created all the religions. Look, they just took it from us." Yeah, so they made that revision based off of something that we did that was more orientated towards what they needed to do. So we can make revisions like that and look into China's history and understand that. And I think if we did that, then we will be looking and saying, wow, they did have that cultural revolution that changed the game. So like we were talking about, I think that's a vital part for us to recreate the African and create ourselves again. Not Nigeria, that was made by the white journalist Flora Shaw. We need to create our own names and our own.
There's one great thing you say that we really need to re-educate ourselves. Mm-hmm. We really need to wipe out the white mentality. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I liked is he told me that the Chinese always work to be the best. Mm-hmm. What about Africans? No.
Yeah. So we have a tendency, even in the Americas, so let me even say that, is to just look for equality. Just look to be equal. And think about that. If somebody else is saying, like, just one person, but let's say, the other group is as a whole saying like, yo, I'm trying to be the best. Yeah? I'm trying to go above and beyond. And you're just trying to be equal. You're always going to be behind them. They're just going to be shoo. And I know we always even say things like, oh, we got to work twice as hard as them just to be as equal as them. Why do that? Create your own lane and be twice as better as them, period. What's the part that's equaling you out? It's them. So detach yourself from them.
And be greater than them.
And just be great.
So I would encourage you guys, especially the Africans and the blacks, regardless which name you prefer, is we have to always work to be better than anyone. And that is what will make our race, our melanin, our race, our people better than anything in the world. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get the respect.
Yeah.
So the other thing I would like to know is you've been into Kenya for quite a number of days. Mm-hmm. How is the vibe of the city? How do you feel? What is the difference? I'm not talking about infrastructure. I'm not talking about, just talking about the vibe of the people.
Man, for me, up until this point, and I've been here for 2 months, so just in case anybody be like, man, you've been there for 2 days. It's amazing. Me, I'm more so depending on what type of place I'm in. Yeah. It's a certain way I carry myself. But here in Africa, here in Kenya specifically, man, I just have interactions with people like man, I'm just like, everybody almost seems like a cousin. Whether it's the Uber driver, that we talking about Uber and how it messed up his taxi job, or if I'm talking to somebody at a grocery store or the pharmacy, it's just the way I can interact with people, and it's just free flowing, just jokes. It's just cool. It's that black stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about in America.
So is it not the same in America?
No, because there's a bunch of other groups there. It's not everybody's just not black, So I mean, depending on where you move, some people might be living in the suburbs. Yeah. But as for the most part, no. And then plus, it's a lot of different dynamics that makes it different. Here, you got the majority of people being black. It's not a big deal. But for us, where we come from, it's the vice versa, and it's good. And then, like I said, it's just a connection there, and it's cool. I never had nobody like treat me a certain way, and I make observations too, so I look for them. But the biggest thing was somebody calling me a Rasta because I got locks. But that's it. That ain't nothing bad. It's not like they like, hey man, you got the weed because you a Rasta. They don't even do that. They just be like, Rasta.
It's not derogative word. No. It's just like, hey bro, you're Rasta.
No. But if you take it to the American construct, it would be.
Really?
Somebody would be like, oh, he got the dreads. Does he smoke weed? Does he do that? But I'm not getting all that. It's just more so, hey, like, what's up, Rasta? And then I'm like, yo, my name is X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? Ain't nobody feeling no type of way, so I like that. The energy is good.
Yeah, and the other thing I would like to tell, especially people from the America, the blacks from America, is when you come to Africa, we don't really use derogative word to anyone. So someone will call you Rasta, someone will use the N-word, and people don't know that it's a derogative word. People don't know.
But once you say it,
Yeah.
once I heard, like, I hear an African say the N-word, for me, I don't use it.
Yeah.
So all I do is say, like, hey, man, don't use that word around me. I don't use it. I might even give them a snippet of the history, and they be like, oh, man, I didn't know. My bad.
We don't know. Don't come here and feel like...
but they say, like, they be like, okay, I won't. It's not like white, like, oh, come on, man. No, man, it's in the rap song. Nah. It's just if you say something, depending on the person that's an African, they be like, oh, okay, I didn't know. My bad.
Yeah. The connection between Africans and the blacks is through the media, it's through music, it's through the movies. And when you come to Africa, to some extent, most of the people will try to converse to you, to connect to you in such a way, like, this is how I see it.
Exactly.
And that's why we're saying we really need to break this bridge and talk to. So from the history that really had that you really deep dive in the histories, and do you feel that the history that people get every day has been manipulated from the original history?
Yeah, most definitely. You manipulate people's history, you manipulate their consciousness, and you manipulate their potentiality. Yeah. So a lot of stuff that is quote unquote his story, his or her story. These are types of terminologies that some scholars use. It's our story, and we have to take our own story back and make it his or her story. Yeah, and we haven't did that. So that history has been manipulated, but it's manipulated for righteous reasons for other groups of people. Like other groups manipulated in the favor of them to survive, to thrive, to do so many things.
Yeah.
And we need to recreate. One of the biggest things that, people love talking about the truth, because they're like, yo, the truth, man. I'm about the truth and facts. An important part that you need to know is that the majority of the world operates on lies and untruths.
Spread by the media.
By a lot of institutions, a lot of ways it's spread.
Yeah.
And so imagine you solely operating or trying to operate yourself on truth only. Yeah?
Yeah.
What about the untruths? You're not operating off of none of that. Yeah? You're trying to operate on this higher level. Most people operate off of untruths. Like, take a kid's point. Like, technically, an Apple phone is not better than a Samsung. Like, what you could utilize it for, the open sources. Even the hardware. So the application, the hardware, the operating system, right? But that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that the lies and the marketing and the PR of Apple is very good. So it can really have somebody loyal to the actual brand and think that it's actually better. But the other one technically outbeats it in every aspect. So that comes from untruths and truths being valid. So that's a part where we see ourselves at failure if we just only operate solely on truths. We need to recognize the lies and realize they're just as valid as truths. One of the quotes that an activist said was that you're an unorganized truth fighting against an organized lie. And I think that was very powerful.
Unorganized?
An organized lie.
Organized lie?
Yeah.
Fighting?
No, so you're unorganized truth fighting against the organized lie.
Lies.
So the organized
lie always wins.
The truth, yeah.
So guys, we'll cut it from there. So you can also follow Afrikanity.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to drop one joint so before we get out of here.
Okay.
I wanted to drop a quote from Dr. Amos Wilson. So that's Dr. Amos Wilson. You should look him up. And this is about the history.
Yeah.
And this is quote, "To manipulate history is to manipulate consciousness. To manipulate consciousness is to manipulate possibilities. And to manipulate possibilities is to manipulate power." That's Dr. Amos Wilson. So let's take back our history, get back our consciousness, get back our possibilities, and get back our African empires.
That's deep. So guys, Go follow Africanity. He has a great channel.
Black Ambassadors
Yeah.
is the channel.
Black Ambassadors.
Ambassadors
Is the channel.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Got to be that ambassador to make that connection, huh?
I'm one of the ambassadors.
One of the ambassadors. Yo, we should start doing that. Yo, I'm going to start getting ambassadors.
Yeah.
And then we're going to all be together and we're just going to be black ambassadors. And we're going to be not only building those bridges, but building the spaceships back and forth to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
We left out on slave ships and we coming back on spaceships. Let's go, man.
Yeah. What they say, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
So, guys, I really learned a lot today, and it's one thing that I really appreciate meeting brother. And so many things I didn't really know about the black people, especially outside Africa. And his brother is really, he's very informed, and following him, you learn a lot. I hope I'll see you again.
Of course, brother.
Thank you.
You're a black ambassador now.
Cheers. Peace out. Thank you.